Thanks for joining me again. This is Danny Cardwell from ThoughtWrestler.blogspot.com, and this is part 3 in the Race Issues series. And in this part, I want to focus on the undervaluing of black women. In part 2, I discussed black-on-black crime, and I specifically left black women out of that conversation because the amount of disrespect aimed at them would have been an injustice to try to cram that into the greater picture of black-on-black crime. But again, this will be a short video and it won't do the justice to the situation, but I want to at least shed some light on it. And inside the black community, there's a tone of disrespect towards black women that has just been perpetuated throughout greater society. And when I grew up, had images of Claire Huxtable on TV. That was, the one prominent image of black womanhood on TV. And you turn the TV on now and Real Housewives of Atlanta, Basketball Wives, and all the other lesser known reality show divas that have been, the depiction of black femininity in this country. And, it's more than 20 years. The gap between Claire Huxtable and these women is more than just 20 years in time. It's night and day, and it's a negative reflection on black femininity and black womanhood. I know black men that have never dated a black woman, and I don't know how that even works. You start out loving those who loved you, and in most of those cases it was a black mother, a black grandmother, it was sisters, it was community that raised you. And somehow inside of our society in the last 25 years, it's been a rapid increase in the way that we have undervalued black women. And for me personally, I don't know how we can expect greater society to respect our women if we don't respect them. We got a first lady who has, she's been vilified in the almost six years that they've been in the White House. She's been compared to a hood rat, a welfare queen. She's been called fat. And so from that standpoint, we have a Harvard and Princeton educated lawyer, woman that's raised her children, who by all outward metrics has been a model of womanhood and femininity and motherhood. And the way she's been disrespected by greater society. And the political angle and those things don't bother me as much as the stereotypical racial angle behind it. I mean, here's a woman who has routinely made six figures in her career, and yet I've heard people in the community I live in, people I've gone to school with that I know some years barely made five figures, refer to her as a welfare queen. And there's a disconnect with reality there. And while bringing it back to Claire Huxtable, while the idea of a black lawyer for a mom married to a black doctor is not typical of the reality of most black children, the fact is that most black children aren't raised by the reflections that we see in these reality show stars either. There's a gap in there, and inside that gap is what you really find inside of the black community and these black women. I know black men that, like they said, they have never dated black women, and one of the excuses they give is they say, well, I would date black women if I could find some black women that were on my level. And the reality is that black women are more likely to be college educated, more likely to be professional than their male counterparts. I don't know where this separation came from. I don't know if it's driven by what we see as success for some people. The outward symbols of success, the Mercedes-Benz, the Rolex, and, the big house are outward symbols of success. And inside the black community, the white woman has also been relegated to a idol, a fetish idol, and it signifies success. Now, let me make sure I'm clear here. I know that folks can fall in love, and I have interracial family members, I have biracial nieces, and I have people in my family that, we're like the United Nations. You can find one of everything at our family reunion. That's not what this is about. This isn't some argument that blacks should stay with blacks. That's not what this is. what it is, though, is standing up for, the dignity of black women, which have been stepped on. And, black women have been mistreated in this society. Not only do they have to go through the male patriarchal abuses that other women have to go through, but, the whole negative stereotypes that come through it. I mean, there have been studies that have been conducted, resumes, where black women with traditionally African names or Afrocentric names have had their resumes just discarded. No matter the qualifications, before you can even get in the door, the moment they see a Keisha, a Tanisha, or a Shawanda, it's out the door. And it's just a tragic reality of this country. It's a tragic reality of our times. But we can't expect those outside of the black community to treat our women any better than we will. And so that's why it was so important to me. Again, I'll post a link to the actual article on Thought Wrestler, and I thank everyone who has taken the time to watch this video. Peace.